Hey there guys, Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you all so very much for joining me for this very special episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. This is our budget overnight adventure. As you guys can see, it is already pitch dark and we're just getting started. Oftentimes, my friends, when you're out backpacking, you're on your adventure, you're having fun, sometimes you just want to keep on going. You want to get those extra miles in. Sometimes you're not even close to your next shelter or next camping spot, and you just got to push through, even through the dark. And that's what this episode is all about. When you're a backpacker, you need to know how to handle yourself in the day and the night. What an incredible night it is to be out backpacking around. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's probably about 65 degrees right now. The lows tonight are going to be around 47. So it is definitely going to be nice and comfortable. Now usually when I'm hiking around at night, I don't carry a lantern. But for the sake of you guys seeing me, that's why I'm carrying it right now. Usually a headlamp is enough to do everything that I need to do. Alright, we just made it to our campsite. This is our favorite summertime campsite. Love this spot. For this adventure, I decided that we were going to do things differently. We were going to go out at nighttime, but we're also going to be going back to a place that's comfortable. And that's because I want to make a point. If you are just getting into backpacking, if you're testing out new gear, you really need to know how to use it. That means you need to practice. You can set up your tent all you want to during the day. You can get really good at it, which I recommend. But there will be times where you have to set it up with very limited light. And I recommend that you begin practicing for this around your home, at your favorite summertime camping spot on your property, whatever you want to do. But you have to be smart. That's the key to everything in life. Use common sense. So right here is our backpack for our trip. Very, very comfortable external frame Kelty pack. This is the Tioga. Not super lightweight by any means, but very, very inexpensive. You can find these for about 30, 50, 60 bucks. Is it a modern pack? Heck no. But is it a good one? Heck yes. Definitely very, very buggy. We need to get a fire going. We need some smoke to clear out the bugs. Now, like I said before, when you're backpacking at night, you have to go slow. And that includes when you get to your base camp. So, setting up your tent, collecting firewood if you're going to have a fire. All of those things are important. They need to be done, but you need to go slowly, no doubt about it. When you decide to camp for the evening, you have to make up your mind. You have to make a decision. What are your priorities? Do you want to get your shelter set up? Is there a possibility for rain or weather? Or do you go ahead and get the fire set up and do the shelter later? Those questions will be answered by yourself and the conditions that you're in. Like I said before, you have to be smart, you have to use common sense, very basic stuff. Now for this trip here, I can look up at the sky and I can see nothing but stars, no clouds, nothing that's giving me the impression that there may be some weather coming in. So I think I'm gonna go ahead, focus my attention on gathering some firewood, getting my fire together. So that means that I need to go into the woods to get my materials. Might as well do that now. Now, since it's dark, I might as well just do this on my own. There's no point of trying to haul around a camera. You guys aren't going to be able to see much anyway. So I'm going to start looking for my firewood now. I'm going to get everything that I need for my fire. Let's see how much time it takes for me to gather this wood while it's dark. Before I head into the woods, I'm looking at my phone here and it is 9:45. So let's just remember that as I begin collecting the firewood here. And we'll talk about what time it is when I get everything done. As you guys can see here, I have found myself a pretty good size limb. That will do a good job for getting our fire going right there. But of course, we're going to need a lot more. That's a pretty good size limb right here. This thing's got to be about 25 feet long. So look what I found here, a whole bunch of dry bark. Originally I was just going to use my lighter, but since I found this hanging from a tree, it is very good quality bark, very, very dry. I figured that we might as well practice our firecraft. Anytime that I can, I do. You can never have too much practice. I think I have a pretty good pile of firewood here. I'll probably have to get more throughout the night, but the bugs are pretty darn bad right now. There's a lot of mosquitoes, so I want to get a fire going just to kind of clear them out of the area. So let's take a look here. It was 9:45 when we started, and right now it is 10:15. So I've spent roughly 30 minutes collecting wood. I got some small stuff, kindling for our fire. We have stuff, makings for our fire bundle, and we have some larger stuff. Now, luckily, since this is my summer camping spot, I do have a whole rick of firewood, which was basically just the apple tree that fell down a while back that almost killed me while I was sleeping up here, but we might as well get this fire going. Okay, we're going to take our nice dry bark here. We're going to knead it up like I've shown you guys a million times. Oh yeah, lots of dirt coming out of this, lots of dust. That means it is ready. This has had a long time to sit out, and it's not rotten. That's good. That's a pretty good bundle right there. We have our fire kit here, and we have our still wool. This stuff is absolutely amazing. That piece right there is more than enough to get a fire going. So you want to pull it apart, just like you would with any sort of tinder. You want to expose all that surface area. If it's clumped together, it won't burn as well. So our nest is ready. I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of small twigs and sticks over the top of this, and we'll be ready to strike it up. Okay. We're ready to go, guys. There we go. That feels absolutely amazing, folks. And we were able to do this in roughly an hour's time. Get the fire going, get enough firewood to last us for a while. So we're in pretty good shape here. We might as well set up our shelter for the evening. Our shelter is the Eureka Solitaire, and we're going to be using a piece of Tyvek here as the ground sheet. You guys voted for the Solitaire tent here over 2,000 times, and the Kelty external frame backpack over 2,000 times. Basically what I'm doing is just picking up some debris off the ground. I don't want to be laying on rocks, and I don't want to be laying on sticks. Well, we got the Eureka Solitaire tent all set up. Didn't take too long. Maybe about 15 minutes, something like that. This is a very good, inexpensive tent. 60 to 70 bucks. You can't beat it. The tent's set up. We got a nice fire rocking and rolling. I'm gonna go ahead and get my sleep system put in there, just so I'll be ready to hop in, go to sleep when the time comes. Basically, just go take care of everything before we sit down and have dinner. So we got started right around 9 o'clock, and right now it is already 11 o'clock. And that just goes to show you how much additional time it takes to really get things done when it's dark. You have to go that much slower. I tell you what, since we're sitting here, and before we start dinner, we might as well answer some of your guys' questions. Everybody who is on Facebook right now, who's sending in these questions, thanks folks, happy to address them for you. Fernando wants to know, what is my favorite shelter so far? Gosh, guys, I have tested and used literally hundreds of different shelters. My favorite shelters would have to be something that's extremely lightweight. That is a good question. I'm not really sure. There's so many different models of shelters, tents, tarps that I really, really like. That's a good question. Kind of threw me off guard there. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one. Maybe I'll come back to you and give you an answer later on. Greg wants to know, when you're camping, sitting by the fire in the dark, have you ever seen glowing eyes of animals looking at you? And I have not. With the fire and all the ruckus that I'm making, nothing's even getting close, really. Now, I do wake up sometimes with animals all around us, deer and stuff like that. Christopher has a pretty good question. Thanks, buddy. How does it feel to affect people the way that you do? Hashtag spiritual journey. I have to say, my friends, that is probably my most favorite part of the outdoor gear review so far. I mean, granted, we've only had this channel going for about a year, and when I say we, I'm talking about me and I'm talking about you, because it's our channel, it's the people's channel. It's for people who love to be outside, plain and simple. It doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you're outdoors. That's what this channel is about, that's what this channel is for, and that's who it's for. On a weekly basis, I receive messages from people saying that, they're picking up backpacking again after a long hiatus, or that, they've been going to the park and they're walking, getting into shape, and they've lost 40 pounds. On Facebook, people are sharing photos of their adventures, some beautiful places that they get to experience. And I tell you what, it makes me so incredibly happy to know that I'm encouraging people, inspiring them to get outdoors. It's interesting how this day and age, that mentality of you have to be in your community, you have to be inside your house, you have to be whatever. It's anything but outside. It's so strange how everything has flip-flopped in the last 100 years. It may come to a surprise to the younger generation, but being outdoors is the way it used to be. And I promise you folks, one day it will return to that exact same thing. There's some amazing things to experience when you're outside of your house, when you're away from the television. There's things taking place that you will remember for the rest of your life. I have in my head a million different images of things that I've seen, things I've experienced, and each one of those memories means more to me than anything. Any movie I've ever seen, any video game I used to play. I tell you what, it's a special thing being outside, and it's a special thing knowing that we can do it together, we can learn from each other. That's awesome. That's what the Outdoor Gear Review is all about. It is now time to have some dinner. I tell you, I am ready. It's 11 o'clock, I'm starving. Let's see what's in our food bag, shall we? Now for this adventure, I am eating a white chicken salad kit. And it's 1 can of premium chunk white chicken, mayonnaise, sweet relish, crackers, and it comes with a tiny little spoon. Maybe you can see that. Little meals such as this are pretty common for day hikes and some trips. They're not the lightest weight food, but it's pretty good. You'll definitely see this with hikers and backpackers often. I also have some snacks, and I brought some oatmeal for the morning. Now with this chicken here, since it does have the juice in it, the water in it, I do not recommend that you dump this out around your campsite. That would be a huge, huge mistake, especially if you live in bear country like I do. For this, I'm just going to drink it. It's actually pretty good. Well, it is time to eat up. I am starving. That's not bad at all. I tell you, when you've been backpacking, just about anything tastes good when you're really hungry. We'll take a break from eating and answer another question. Blake here has a really good question. What advice would you give to someone who is wanting to get into backpacking? I would say this. Develop a budget for how much you want to spend. Now, when it comes to backpacking, you could spend, like for this trip here, all of this gear, everything was less than $300. That's pretty cheap when it comes to backpacking gear. Now, you could spend thousands of dollars very, very easily. You could get the most high-tech this and that. You can get the lightest weight this and that. I say develop a budget, find out what works for you, and then go out and start looking at each component, the backpack, the tent, the sleeping bag, the sleeping pad, so on and so forth, and find like the best that's out there. Look at the reviews. See what people say are the pros and the cons of each piece. And then I would recommend checking it out in person if at all possible. You need to have an idea of what works for you. Can you sleep in a bivy tent? Kind of like the Eureka Solitaire? Or is that just too cramped? Do you need something bigger so you can sit up in and change your clothes in the morning? You really have to learn what is right for you. Because really, it boils down to comfort. It boils down to enjoyment. I mean, if you're going out into the woods and you're doing something that you don't like, something's irritating you, getting on your nerves, you're not going to have a fun time. You're not going to want to do it again. For me, backpacking is all about the enjoyment. I want it to be lightweight. So I don't mind spending the extra bucks because I want it to be lightweight. I have a back injury. I don't like carrying a lot of weight. And I like to go fast and I like to go far. So I want gear that's lighter weight. That's what fits for me. And I know that it's going to be more expensive. I also know that I don't like bugs. So I need something with bug netting in it. Think about what you want. Think about the type of person you are. Go check out these items. Make sure to read reviews. When it comes to backpacks, try it on. Do not order a backpack online until you've at least tried on a number of packs in a store and learned what fits you, what fits your body type. If you're a small guy like myself, you might be able to get away with a medium-sized pack. But then again, a medium-sized pack might be too large for you. The same goes if you're a large guy. Even a large pack might not be the right fit. Might be too tight across the shoulders, might not fit right at the waist. So you need to try packs on, and a lot of these outdoor company stores will let you do just that. And they will help you measure your torso, figure out what pack will work for you. Then you could go from there. So let's say you have your gear. You know, you've got all the pieces that you need. I would say that when you're packing up to walk out of the house for the first time, take the additional items that you're questioning yourself about. You're like, should I take this? Should I take that? Take it. Your first trip is not about weight. It's really about discovery. You want to discover what you need, what you don't need, and stuff like that. One time, I was on a trail, and I came across another hiker, and he was carrying this huge-ass pack. This huge pack. I mean, he had a number of different stoves. He had more food than he could eat in an entire month, and he was only out for like 2 days. And really, you could tell he was just picking it up. He was just learning what works for him, what doesn't. And you'll do the same thing. I did the same thing. I think my first backpacking trip out, I had like 60 pounds worth of stuff. I had fishing kits, and I had this and that, and I learned very, very quickly that, one, carrying 60 pounds is not a lot of fun, especially in these mountains. Golly. I also learned that I didn't use half of that junk. But, like I said, it's all about discovery. You will learn, and you will see what works for you, and that's how it's got to go. It's got to go that way. I can't tell you everything that you will need, because everybody's different, everybody's individual, so you'll have to learn it on your own. I could tell you the fundamentals. You know, you need a tent, you need a sleeping pad, you need a sleeping bag, you need a backpack, you need a way to cook your food, heat your water, you need something to carry your water with. You need to know how to get more water if you need to. How are you going to purify it, sterilize it, whatever, so on and so forth. My next bit of advice is, don't go far from home. There's no reason why your first trip has to be a 200-mile adventure down to whatever, up to some mountain, something like that. First off, I think it's a bad idea. You need to test out your gear. You need to learn how it works, how it operates, what it can take. You need to know with your system what works and what doesn't. And the best way to do that is just to get out, even if you're close to home. Go to a local park and where you could pay a small fee and camp. That's where you start at. You don't ever run off into the middle of nowhere if you don't have the experience to back it up. I could go on all night long about this, but hopefully that's some good advice to get you started. Time to go back to eating, my friends. Now, one thing that's really important, folks, is that I don't want to be spilling food on the ground. I have to be very, very tidy. This is bear country. Bears are out and about. So spilling food all over your campsite is a bad idea, unless you want someone to come knocking on your tent in the morning. Tell you what, nothing is better than just a nice fire Just being out in the country is so beautiful out here. And let me tell you what I hear. I hear the roar of the creek to my left, and that is kind of echoing throughout the woods here. The fire is roaring in front of me. The heat coming off of it feels just amazing. My back is a little bit chilled because it's starting to cool down. My front is nice and warm. Nothing else. No cars. I don't hear any voices. There's no light pollution. No street lights. I can look up into the sky and I can see stars. More stars than you can possibly count. I can see the Big Dipper. This is paradise to me. You know, it just dawned on me that it's been a while since I've told you guys a story. And when you're sitting around a campfire, it's always fun to share different stories about things, different experiences. So I was thinking about that just a minute ago. What could I talk about? Let's talk about a recent event that took place. This is Memorial Day weekend. And yesterday, my wife and I, we decided to go to Virginia in Damascus and bike the Creeper Trail. We were going to do 34 miles. Basically the same trek that you guys have seen me walk a couple of times from Damascus to Abington and back. That is such a cool trail. It's a blast to ride it. So we get into town, and I had actually kind of forgotten that it was Memorial Day weekend. And it is packed. As soon as we pull into town, there's one section of the Creeper Trail that goes across this road. And there's got to be 50 bikers waiting to cross as the traffic comes in. And I was like, oh man, what have we done? Anyway, so we pull in, we park, we get our bikes ready, we hop on, we start biking. We're a mile or two in, having a great time. I mean, it feels amazing to be on the bike, having a blast. We get a couple more miles in, still having a ton of fun. And we got about 6 miles in, and I think I hear something. Sounds like a sss. And I was like, uh-oh. I mean, it sounds like air escaping from a tire. I'm gonna be positive and just ignore it, and maybe it isn't. So we ride a little bit further, and my wife says, honey, I think I have a flat tire. And I was like, Doe, I thought I heard that. I was kind of hoping that wasn't the case. So hop off my bike, check out her bike. And it's not just a hole, it's not just a punctured tube. The actual tire, the rubber, has just shredded. Something had tore a huge hole in it. She ran over something, who knows what. And it tore up the tube as well. So, I had an extra tube because I like to be prepared, but this is a completely different issue. The tire is actually shredded. So even if I pop the other tube in, I mean, it would only last for maybe a mile before I put another hole in it. So basically, I gave her my bike so she could ride it, and I pushed her bike back into town for 6 miles. And honestly, I didn't mind that. It's kind of fun, actually. Of course, it's the gentleman thing to do. The lady, shouldn't have to walk, shouldn't have to push her own bike. Turn around, push in the bike. And that's basically when the walk of shame started. And it lasted for a couple of hours as we walked back. There's so many people on that trail. And every single person that rode by would stare at that bike, and the tire was just completely shredded, so I ended up having to take it off, and I was just running on the rim, on the actual wheel itself, and I had the tire and the tube around my shoulder, kind of Rambo style, and, it's not bad that they stare at you, but after, hundreds of people are like, oh no, oh bummer, the entire time, and so by the time I got back into Damascus, I was getting a little irritated. I was tired of being stared at, for one thing. Just another experience, my friends. That's what I booked that as. Just another experience. So we get into Damascus. We throw the bikes in the truck. It's getting too late. It was probably almost 6 o'clock then by the time we got back into Damascus. So we drive into Mountain City, Tennessee. And it's a pretty small town. Not a whole lot in it. And we stopped at Mike's Barbecue, which in my opinion is the best barbecue in the entire world. It is so good. It is incredibly greasy though. They give it to you in a white paper bag. And I swear to you, by the time that you walk 50 feet from the window of the store, of the restaurant, to the picnic table, you could see through that bag. That's how greasy that stuff is. And I tell you what, absolutely phenomenal. Just amazing barbecue. And I tell you what, I'm glad that I don't live there. I'm glad I don't eat that stuff very often. I'm sure it would kill you. but my gosh, is it good. So that was the perfect ending to that trip. And I had a whole lot more than that. Let's see, I had a barbecue sandwich, I had fries, I had a cheeseburger, and half of an Italian sub. And all of it was fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead, clean up here, and get my bear bag ready. I definitely can't leave something like this out and about because that will draw in some animals, no doubt about it. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. No point in showing you guys. I showed you guys how to do the bear bag before, plus it is so dark you guys wouldn't be able to see anything. So I'm gonna head up into the woods about 100 feet away and throw up the bear bag. Tim wants to know, where's my best night been spent at? One cool place, really, really cool place, is the Grayson Highlands in Virginia. There's wild ponies up there, and you could just camp out. It's part of the AT, goes through it. It is really, really nice. Really beautiful. I don't remember the elevation, but it's pretty good up there. One night I went up there. I did some hiking on the AT, just an overnight trip. I woke up, I guess it was probably about 7:30, something like that. I come out of my tent, and I am surrounded by wild ponies. There's ponies everywhere, and they are really, really cool looking. They are really awesome. They have crazy, like, rock star hair. I mean, it looks like someone actually did their hair for them. It's just wild. Yeah, so that morning, I fired up the stove, made a cup of coffee, and I basically just watched the sun rise and chilled with the ponies. That was really, really cool. It's moments like that, you know, that really make backpacking, to me, what it is. Waking up with some wild ponies. I mean, that's so freaking awesome. That is awesome. Now, I get asked quite a bit about my wife, and when are you guys going to see more of her in my overnight adventure videos? Now, coming up this summer, we will be doing quite a bit of camping, and I will do my very best. We'll do at least 1 or 2 videos camping out together. I think right now we're kind of planning on an Appalachian Trail trip together. That should be pretty fun. So you guys will definitely be seeing more of her in the future. We're also going to be doing a biking trip on the Creeper Trail. You guys will also be seeing my kids. We have a Campfire Chronicle video, which is coming up soon with my son. He actually got his fire going. The fire was all his to take care of, and he got it going with a ferro rod. I'm so incredibly proud. I tell you, you guys know, getting a fire going with a ferro rod isn't the easiest thing in the world. You guys will be seeing my daughter. You guys have seen her in some photos. It's time to get her butt out here. Get her outside, you know what I mean? Bill here, he wants to know how I met my wife. And my wife and I are actually high school sweethearts. We met in high school. And we've been together over 14 years now. She's definitely the boss. All women are. Guys, don't ever try to convince yourself that you're the boss. Don't be ridiculous. Now, Carl has a question here. What do I use to repel mosquitoes, gnats, flies, and ticks? There is a product made by Sawyer, and I'm going to have to put it on the screen because I can't remember the name of it. But basically, it's a spray, and I believe it's DEET, which I know a lot of people don't like. It's bad news. You definitely don't want to spray that junk on your skin. You will have a problem. Who knows what on earth that would do to you. But supposedly, if you spray it onto your clothing, you could spray it on your tents and stuff like this. Let it dry, and then it will last for like 6 weeks, 6 washings, something like this. And I tell you what, guys, it really, really works well. You could spray it on your pants. I don't usually spray it on my shirts. I don't know, because you're sweating. It just seems too close to your skin. But I put it on my pants, I put it on my boots, my shoes, and I do spray it on my tents, and it works really, really well. You could find it on Amazon, fairly cheap, and look at the reviews on it. People love it. I mean, it really does work well. I will do a review on that product, and I'll make sure that it comes up soon, guys, because it really is some good stuff. Ryan wants to know, what's the craziest, sketchiest, scariest thing to happen to you while you're on the trail or camping? Nothing in nature has ever really creeped me out. People creep me out. If I've ever been sketched out before, it's because of somebody else. And at times, you will meet people and they creep you out. Your spider senses tell you that something is off about these people, and you gotta trust your gut every single time. I do a lot of hiking around, and I like to hike around at nighttime. And one thing that I've noticed this year is that with hiking around, there's a lot of people out and about at all hours of the night. My brother and I, we've been hiking on a path in town, and we do about 15 miles every Friday. It's a great little trail. It's out in the woods, it's nice and quiet, but a part of it goes past a methadone clinic. And methadone is basically like synthetic heroin, or there are people hanging out around there that really, I mean, no offense to anybody who's on it, you know, or whatever, but there's some interesting characters. There's people that live in the woods out there. One night, my buddy Corey and I, we're hiking along, and we're going past the methadone clinic, and I hear something. It sounds like a woman screaming, kind of. It's pretty far off, so I can't quite make it out. So we keep walking a little bit, and I'm like, dude, let's stop for a second. What on earth is that? And it's getting louder, louder and louder, and it gets closer. And I see this guy coming down this hill, and it's part of this trail. He is screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and he is screaming, and he is saying every curse word that you can possibly imagine. He's saying F, 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 GD, what the F, blah, 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 just screaming non-stop. And it was obscenities the entire time. He actually split off, the trail actually split off, and he took another route. And then he just wanders off into the woods, and he is screaming. And we probably stood there for about 20 minutes and listened to him. No light, no nothing, just plowing through the woods, screaming at the top of his lungs. GD this, F that, SH, I mean, just saying it all. That was pretty terrifying. I'll be honest with you. That was pretty darn terrifying. Even though he didn't even get close to us. With somebody like that, I mean, you just never know how that's going to pan out. Of course, I'm prepared. I had my knife on my hip. I was ready to rock and roll if I had to, you know? People are crazy. They're absolutely crazy. My advice, folks, is trust your gut. Trust your instincts. If your instincts tell you, hey, something's wrong with this guy, you be polite, you be nice, and then you get out, you know? Say, hey, have a great night, I gotta go. Bam, and take off. The best course of action is to leave. It's not confrontation. That's not what you want to do. And it has nothing to do with how big and bad that you think you are. That nonsense is for the movies. Sean wants to know, are we going to do some hammock camping? Yes, we are. Absolutely. Coming up. Bent Brook wants to know, any plans for an ultralight backpacking trip? Absolutely. And we're going to do some serious distance with it as well. Coming up soon, my friends. Definitely starting to chill down just a little bit. See my breath here. I think it's pretty much time to get ready for bed. It's after 12 o'clock, getting close to 1. I think I'm going to go ahead, brush my teeth. The tent's pretty much ready to go. Get all that done. I'll bring you guys back once I hop inside. I'm about to brush my teeth here, and I figured that I'd go ahead and show you all how I carry my toothbrush and toothpaste. In my miscellaneous kit, I keep this right here, which I hope you guys can see. Basically just a small tube of toothpaste and a travel toothbrush, which I've broken the handle off of. This is just long enough here, brush my teeth just fine. Lightweight too. Now, when you're brushing your teeth, folks, you want to make sure that you, with your toothpaste and stuff, you don't spit this out around your campsite. A lot of this stuff is mint flavored, or whatever flavor that you have, and guess what? Animals like mint. So think of it as a piece of candy that you're spitting out. So you definitely don't want to be spitting this out around your campsite. You want to go off, spit it out. You know, it's just like with chewing gum. You wouldn't think about it, but even like leaving a piece of chewing gum in your backpack is enough to draw in a bear. Black bears can smell about 5,000 times better than you can. Think of that. Well, my friends, we are in the tent for the night. Got our teeth brushed, got all of our stuff put up as best we can. With this bivy tent here, there's not enough space to fit the pack in, so I just had to lean it up against a tree, hope for the best. I'm not expecting any rain tonight, but if it does happen to rain, I have some trash can liners, which I can wrap up the pack, keep it nice and dry if I need to. I think we're in store for a pretty good night. It has been a great trip so far, and I have to say that I'm pretty tired. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock in the morning, and this really has mixed things up. It's been quite a while since I've had to set everything up in the dark, and it just takes so much time. But it's really important that you have those skills, that you have that experience to do it. So my friends, we're going to get some sleep, And in the morning, we'll start up the fire again, have some breakfast, answer some more questions. See you guys in the morning. Good morning, folks. Oh, it was a pretty good night last night. We slept good in the tent here, very comfortable. And this tech blanket here, Therm-a-Rest tech blanket, which I picked up for like 20 bucks, did absolutely awesome. This thing was super duper warm. Very, very comfortable. I'm pretty darn impressed. Right now it's about 8:30, and it's about time to get out of this tent. We're gonna go ahead and stoke up the fire. We're gonna make some breakfast. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Oh man. All right. It's chilly this morning. No doubt. I wonder if we could find any embers in our fire here. Try to get it going again. I slept good, but I slept really, really hard last night. Probably due to the fact that we got out here really late and we went to bed really late. That was a good night. At some point in time, I woke up hearing some deer snorting at me. Let's see if there's anything left to this fire. All right, guys, we're gonna check this fire here and see if there's any life left in it. Now, I could tell you already that there is. I could put my hand over this and there's heat coming up. Oh yeah. We could get a fire going. Let me go ahead here, guys, and show you the sweet spot. Check this out. As you can see there, it's burning already. So I have some semi-dry leaves that I'm gonna go ahead and throw down on top. So we have the leaves on top, and I'm just throwing some small sticks. We'll put that on there too. These leaves are wet, so I'm going to let them just kind of dry out here for a minute before I start blowing on it. Let's go ahead and bring this back to life. There we go. Now that feels absolutely amazing. Nice and easy. I mean, that took no time at all. I tell you, I am starving. Let's go ahead and get our water on to boil. This is going to be good. As we're sitting here, waiting for our water to boil, I have a question for you guys. Did you all happen to watch the last episode of Dual Survivor with Cody Lundin? And specifically, I'm talking about the episode where they kind of do a behind the scenes and they kind of show some of the filming and they talk about Cody Lundin leaving the show. What did you guys think about that? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Was Discovery Channel spinning that to make Cody Lundin look bad, or did Cody Lundin make himself look bad? Post down below and let me know what you think. I'm curious. We have some instant oatmeal for our breakfast, and this is raisins and spice. Sounds pretty good to me. All in all, last night was a lot of fun, I tell you what. We got out here about 9 o'clock, and it took us to just about 1 o'clock in the morning to kind of get everything done. Collected quite a bit of firewood, setting up the tent and all that stuff. You just have to go so slow in the dark. It takes practice, but it's a good experience to have, no doubt. Situations like that really affirm the point that you need to have experience with setting up your gear. If your tent has a bunch of different poles, and it takes a while to figure it out during the daytime, practice, because you need to be able to do it in the dark as well. And it's a whole lot different when you can barely see. Now, before I move on and start actually boiling water for the oatmeal, it's time for some coffee. And what we have here is some Starbucks. One of my viewers sent this in to me, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you very much. All right. Cheers, my friends. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I thought about that all night long. I was thinking about Dual Survivor, and I was thinking about how they could have spun that to make Cody Lundin look bad. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I have my own, and I'll share those in the future. Also, I'm curious, what do you guys think about Joe Tedeye? Well, since we're sitting here, we're enjoying our coffee, we're about to have some breakfast here in a minute, let's go ahead and answer some more questions. Just a couple more. What is the closest bear encounter you've had while hiking and camping? and that comes from Steven. When it comes to bears, I've seen them my entire life. I've had them as close as 20 feet away, and I've never had a problem with it. It's never been a big deal, and I've never felt threatened either. Now, when there's cubs involved, you just stay clear, you get out of Dodge. You're asking for trouble if there's cubs in there. But yeah, I've had them come into camp before, really just kind of roaming through. Never had any troubles. Actually, I've never known anyone to ever have bear issues. One time I was up on Mount Mitchell. I had left my campsite early that morning to make it back to the truck. I had to go back home, get to work, and man, there was a vehicle that was just ripped all to pieces. Somebody had left food or something in their car, and I think it was just scratched everywhere you could possibly imagine. The whole thing was just scratched up. That's pretty darn funny. That's what I call a mistake. You live and learn. You don't take food and leave it in your car in bear country. Ellie has asked a very personal question. How many big and small hiking packs, tents, sleeping bags, sleeping mats do you own, and do you get around to using them all throughout the year? Happy counting. I have so much gear now that I cannot keep track of it. I recently ordered a storage building, which will be coming probably within the next week, 2 weeks. And it's also going to be my man layer, so that's going to be pretty sweet. So I'm going to be able to actually get all of my gear in one central location, and I'm going to have easy access to everything. Give me a couple weeks, let me get organized, and I will tell you exactly how much of everything that I have. Alright, that was pretty good. Now let's get breakfast. We just put the water on for breakfast. God, that bird is really loud. Anyway, we put the water on. It's heating up now. We might as well pull back the fly on this tent and begin letting all the condensation on the inside dry out. That way, when we put the tent up, it's ready to go. We don't have to worry about mold or anything like that. Whoa, look at that freaking spider. Look at this spider, guys. Ugh. What on earth is that? That makes me very unhappy. I tell you what, I do like this tent quite a bit. It's got some pretty cool features. Not only is it a bivvy with a front entrance, it also has a top entrance right here. So let's say that it's a really nice night, very dry. You could roll up the fly, and you could just lay here, look at the stars. And also there's a zipper right here on top, so you can actually get all of your stuff out nice and easy. That's cool. We have our water, it is ready. Now we're just gonna let that fire die out. Already it's starting to get pretty warm this morning. And from what I understand, there's a chance of showers and thunderstorms today. Some instant oatmeal for breakfast. I have just about everything in the backpack, except for the tent, which is just drying out right now. So probably by the time we're done with our oatmeal, we'll be able to pack it up. Let's see how this is. I tell you what, it's not bad, but once you get used to eating the real thing, the real deal, this doesn't compare to it at all. My wife and I, we try to eat as non-processed as possible. We want it to come out of the ground, onto the table. So, this isn't bad, but I can taste, I don't know, something in it. Did you guys see the size of that spider that was on that tent? It was bigger than a 50-cent piece. Brr. God, I don't like that. That makes my skin crawl. Now, since I'll be leaving soon, I want to make sure that we burn up as much of this as possible. So I'm going to kind of just pull everything into a centralized location. I want it all to burn up. Once I finish breakfast, we'll pretty much just pack everything up. It's time to go home. I gotta go to my second job. Time to get some work done. Now, before I head out of here, guys, I am going to make sure that I got all of my tent stakes. I already know that I got everything from my campsite over there, so just to make sure, you need to check. Nothing is worse than going out on your next trip and finding out that you left a stake behind. It looks good. Let's go. So my friends, I want to say thank you all so very much for joining me for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Strength and honor. Be well.